Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Where the Mind Wanders with Spoons and Joe. Say hi, Spoons.
Hey there.
Just in case this is your first time listening, this is Where the Mind Wanders, and literally the show is, as the title suggests, we just let our minds wander, and Spoons and I have a vast amount of interest, and we never know what we're going to talk about really, and today is one of those days as well. Um, Yeah, you can catch us on YouTube at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time every week, and this will be episode. Oh shit! What
18?
episode? 17?
I think it's 18.
18, 18. All right, yeah, I
I
think
think. Yeah.
this is episode something. You'll be reading in the description, so don't worry about it. It's just my mind, the way my mind works. Um, so yeah, I was just telling Spoons off the air that I've really not much of an exciting week between the last episode and this one. Um, And I was like scratching my head. I'm like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And then I was like, I don't know. We never know what we're going to talk about. So let's try. Um, so, uh,
Well,
you got anything, Spoons?
I don't know. I was telling you before we started recording, it feels like the last week and a half to 2 weeks, I just feel a lot quieter lately. I've just been, I guess, more introspective. And so it makes it difficult to have a lot to talk about
Yeah.
when you're in one of those phases. Um, I mean, it's not like a bad thing by any means. It's been a good, nice, for the most part, contemplative space to be in, and I've got um, I don't know, a lot of clarity on some things where I want to focus my time and energy, but I don't know. It's been kind of a just lazy sort of thinking and resting time, I suppose, the last couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that's lazy because it's not really lazy. It's
Yeah.
just not very outwardly productive.
Yeah. I can't say that my life is in the last weeks has been much different, to be honest. It just seems, just flowing through life. There's just the normal stuff, day-to-day living, work and whatnot. And
Hmm.
also, I haven't really got much stuff done, to be honest. Um, yeah, but I know exactly what you mean. I don't know. Maybe something's in the air right now. Maybe it's just us two. I don't know. But uh,
Yeah,
yeah, at the moment, it's like it's not really new or interesting. I'm not really, you know, doing
yeah,
much.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much just continuing on with my newer routines that I've kind of established for myself, which is work and working out and all of those kind of things that come with all of that. Uh, and so yeah, I feel like the last couple of weeks as well, I just sleep so deep and I'm completely unaware. Like I kind of feel like there might be some dreams or something happening, but I don't. It's like just a really blank space and like the kind of sleep where you don't move.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting because it seems like just a few weeks ago I was having all that restless sort of fitful sleep.
Mm.
And then I kind of surrendered some things and now I'm sleeping so much better. I don't know. It's interesting.
Maybe just catching up.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to think if I even had any interesting work stories, but I don't know. I had a guy one day this week that I picked up, and I picked him up before. It's been quite a while ago. There's a retirement home, or it may even be a nursing home. I'm not really sure. I think he's probably going and visiting somebody there. And it's a pain to get to this place. They're doing all this road construction, and so they have like the road down to one lane, and they've got, the traffic has to wait forever for one direction to pass by or whatever, and then the other can go.
Mm,
Anyway, it's a pain to get over there to this spot. And I finally got over there, and I missed the little uh, turn in the parking lot to go the correct way and the pull through. So I had to turn around and come back, which took like just a couple of seconds. No, not a big deal. Wasn't anything to me, but he got worked up about it. He was trying to signal me to come the wrong direction through the pull through. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's a one way. And the likelihood that it's going to cause a problem is not very high. But why do that when I could just take the 3 seconds, turn around, and come in the right way? He's like, I've had so many people just leave me. And I was just like, that's awful. I mean, I guess that's why he was panicking. He was more concerned that I was just going to get mad and drive off, is what he thought, because other people had or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. Is it people get angry and drive off? I said, or is it because they get embarrassed?
yeah.
I mean, that's my thought, is they got embarrassed and they don't want to face the person, so they drive away. Because I feel like anger is just, I mean, anger is like a valid emotion, but it's like it's always covering up something else, which I would think in that case would be embarrassment, but maybe I'm wrong. It just it it hit me funny when he was like, "No, I think they're just mad." Okay, it was just a strange interaction to me. So it was like, I don't know. He was just a strange little guy. I mean, he was nice, and he tipped me nice and all of that. It was definitely worth the time to drive over there, but I don't know. It's almost like he wanted me to be upset. Like, I'm not upset. I just had to turn around. It's not a big deal. If you can't handle turning around, you don't need to be doing rideshare for work. It would be that would be a hard thing if you couldn't make a mistake ever. And not that that's even a mistake. It's just whatever. I don't know. It was just funny to me.
Hmm. I don't know. It's like it's in that situation you're like trying to figure out the emotion. I think it's like even hard for me to put myself in that the driver's shoes to figure that out because I don't know. I'm weird in the way that I would get over to him no matter what, like panicking, you know, trying to
Yeah.
do my job. So embarrassment maybe, but I don't know. I would. The thing is, I don't think I would ever have driven away personally. So I don't know. I can't really put myself in the shoes to say so.
Yeah, I'm like, it would have to be something really strong because it takes you so long to get to this place. It's not an easy place to get to. So the amount of time you spend going over there and then to just drive off and you make nothing off of that, that's insane to me.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
um, like, I don't know, it was just strange, the whole thing. It's funny. But I think he was just worried I was going to leave him. Like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Oh, there's a lot of fretful people out there in the world. That's for sure.
Mm, yeah, I think it was an interesting thought experiment just doing that now. I kind of just realized as well as like I don't I don't really try to figure people out anymore. Like I don't. I just like accept whatever they are and go with the flow and Um, uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that whole thing about being embarrassed or whatever, to me that's just me projecting on like if I make an error or used to when I made an error, that would be like my whole thing. I would be so embarrassed. I might have driven off just to escape the confrontation from it or whatever, but I wouldn't these days. I don't care. Not a big deal. It's funny.
yeah, that's
Yeah, I
usually
don't.
yeah, good.
Well, I was just to say I don't know that I'm really trying to figure people out as much these days either.
Mm, yeah. I think that comes with when you actually start knowing more about yourself, is you don't really do that anymore because basically what we do is we project. So
Mm-hmm.
what be like me syndrome, I guess is what it's called. So you project if you personally were in that situation, how you would feel and what you would have done, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else functions like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of learned that long ago, and that it's just a natural phenomenon of consciousness, of psychology, whatever, to project. And that's a form of projection. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is thinking, okay, if I did this, that means this was my motives, this was my intent, but that's, other people are um, could be radically different than you. Um, and kind of when I realized that, I kind of realized that, I guess. So I don't really try to figure people out because I have no idea. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, it's not that there aren't like patterns and stuff like that out there. Um, that could give you like a clue, but um, yeah, it's I usually just nip it at the bud right away. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what making this guy tick. Like, I don't know what kind of day he's had or what kind of life he's had, et cetera, et cetera. So, and some people just
Mm-hmm.
have off days too.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
mm,
Yeah. I get that a lot though. People will get in the vehicle and they'll say something about other drivers. And I'm like, do you think I know who these other drivers are? We don't have meetings. We don't know each other.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's a little
No,
a little different than like a taxi company or something.
yeah. Like, it's not like I have some great insight into any of this stuff.
Mm,
Um, I'm just as clueless as you are. It's funny. People are just funny. Mm, what else?
mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Life has just been so chill for the most part. It's just hard to come up with much. I did listen to a little bit of that book you suggested last week, the Stephen King one
Oh yeah.
about writing. Hmm. I got to the part where he talked about Carrie a bit and basing it off of two high school students that were kind of that archetype. And he was talking about how they both died really young. It was kind of interesting just to hear some of the character creation. He's like, he never liked that character.
Mm,
I'm like, well, I guess that makes sense. Um, I don't know. There's lot of interesting little, um, stories about his life and how he sort of worked his way into writing. And I just got to the part where it was actually starting to talk about the writing process
Yeah.
and go into all of that. So uh, that's where I kind of left off at. And I want to get back to it. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that was a good book. I think I read that one front to cover. It was one of those books that you couldn't put down. Like anytime you had
Hmm.
a break, you'd open it, take the bookmark out, and it was one of those ones. Yeah, it's a really good book.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, and as for Carrie, man, I've never read the book. All right, so and they always say the book's better than the movie.
Hmm.
Uh, but man, that movie creeped me out, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. I've just
Uh,
seen, bits and pieces of it over the years. I've never actually sat down and watched the whole movie, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's stuff I don't really like to think about, I think.
yeah. I've seen both of them. They made the one what in the 60s or 70s, and then they made a
Hmm.
remake in the 90s, I believe. The 90s one especially is really creepy, man.
Hmm.
That's all I remember. I remember just like one of those horror movies that's just disturbing. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, Stephen King also wrote The Shining. Also, never read the book, but I heard, and even from I think Stephen King even talks about in that book that the movie they radically changed a lot of stuff from the book to the point where
Oh,
he was not happy about the creative. What do they call those? Creative,
license.
yeah, yeah, creative liberty or whatever
Hmm.
that the Stanley Kubrick took with that movie because he says he altered it, and not only did he alter it, there's important things about the story that were not included in the movie, which it
Oh,
intrigued me that maybe someday I should read the book, but I don't really get around to fiction much.
yeah. I don't know. I read a lot of fiction, but I never really read Stephen King. I think I don't know. I was just never really into horror stuff. It's more like I don't know. I liked murder mysteries and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think because of the types of stuff he would write, you could kind of see it play out in the everyday more almost. It made it a little bit more scary to me. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to read that. I don't know. I might change my mind about it now, but mm, it's just never been my thing.
Yeah, same here. I'm not really like a horror genre fan for books nor movies for that matter. Um,
Yeah.
but I've seen a lot of, horror movies when I was younger, and then Sandra likes to watch horror movies, especially around Halloween.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, they don't really, that genre doesn't really intrigue me either.
Yeah. But the only thing, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I started watching some of the horror stuff from like the 90s because at that point it was so outdated, it wasn't so scary to me or whatever. But just like, well, this is just kind of like a comedy at this point. It's not really scary. So I don't know. But I don't like to go spend time trying to be scared about something.
See, what the thing with me is like, okay, maybe when I was a little kid, because I remember a couple movies give me nightmares, but I don't really get. There's no like horror, like scary factor. I just find it. I don't know, disturbing. Just kind of
Yeah.
like uh, distasteful, I guess.
Yeah.
Where I'm not like interested, and I don't want to continue the movie, and I don't think I've ever read a.
Hmm.
Well, I read Goosebumps in the 90s when I was a kid, but if that counts as horror. But
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I had movies when I was like, The Blob gave me nightmares when I was a kid. It
Yeah.
was like this 90s or maybe it's an 80s remake of The Blob. Like, I guess that's an old
Uh-huh.
black and white one, but they made a
Mm-hmm.
remake. And I remember watching it with my dad when I was, oh man, a little kid. I had to be like kindergarten, first grade or something like that. I don't even know. And I remember watching The Blob, and there's just was one scene that gave me nightmares for like a month. Or or I guess it's not really horror. Or I guess to me it is. RoboCop gave me like nightmares like crazy when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Watching that movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. This never was my thing either. I don't know. Not knocking somebody else's stuff. I'm just like, it's just not for me.
mm,
I don't know. I think it's the gore aspect on a lot of that that I didn't like. Um, which I guess I could read it and it would probably have been fine because I like to read murder mysteries and stuff like that. But I feel like that's not as gory for some reason.
yeah,
I
because
don't know.
it's your imagination you're
Hmm.
tapping into. So it's yeah, it's when they make a movie or something like that, it's like yeah, it's like being shoved down your throat almost. But
Hmm.
when you read it, it's like the writer can be very descriptive and whatnot, but it's like it's your imagination, what you're perceiving. I think the audience
Hmm.
knows what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that was kind of another thing that was, I did listen to a little bit of, or there was a little bit of stuff in there about writing, and he was just talking about not using a lot of descriptors
Mhm.
or whatever in
Yeah,
his writing. And it's like that way, people can just have that option to imagine so much more. Why box them in, basically? So I
yeah,
thought that was kind of interesting.
yeah. I remember that part too. We cut out the adverbs and adjectives. I think he said he
Hmm.
goes back when he does the editing, and his goal is to like cut like 30% of what he wrote, and most of it's
Hmm.
adjectives and adverbs. He was saying.
Yeah. I used to have to, when I was working at the insurance company and I was doing a lot of writing, that's basically what I did is I just go back and cut words for clarity's sake. It's interesting. It does make it easier to read, the more straightforward you can make it. So, I don't know. I just wouldn't have thought about that for your novels and stuff. I think you'd want descriptors in there. But it's a fascinating book.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever read a Stephen King book. I've seen a lot of the movies that were based off his books, but never read one of his books before.
Hmm.
Uh, I know a lot of people have though, but no one's read The Shining because that after I read that one book and he was like, "Oh, Kubrick changed everything," and I wasn't happy about that movie, and they cut out important parts, and they changed the context basically, which would have drove me nuts as an artist too if they changed the whole context of what I wrote. But
Hmm.
but yeah, I never. One of these days, at least The Shining, I might read just to see what he means because I've seen that movie a million times. Um,
Hmm.
that's a movie Sandra watches at least once a year. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I have so many books stacked up right now. I don't know that I should even say I do want to, but I do want to read some of his stuff. I think that Tommy Knockers one would be interesting about the alien stuff.
mm,
Mm, yeah. Mm. we'll see. Maybe I find an audiobook or something. That's about the only way I get to consume stuff these days is, listening while I'm driving. So,
Yeah, I tried audiobooks for a while. Personally, I can't get into them, like because
yeah.
if I get distracted, then I lose a big chunk of what I listen to, and I'm lost. So
Hmm.
um, if I don't have the ability to sit down and read it off a paper, or if they make a movie, like the odds of me trying to consume an audiobook are almost zero at this point. Because years I would
Yeah.
find all these audiobooks online and stuff like that, and I try to listen to them. But like I
Hmm.
said, if I'm not focused in on the audiobook, just the audiobook, then I lose big chunks because I get distracted. And
Hmm.
so yeah, for me, it's listening to an audiobook is the same as like sitting down and reading it. I have to focus. So um,
Yeah. Mm, no, not for me. Like there's certain books that I don't think I would have ever got the concepts on them if I hadn't found the audio book version. Just so I could sit and kind of listen and absorb it and then basically rewind and listen again. It's just I don't know. I suppose with enough time I could have probably read it, but I don't think it would have landed the same for me. I don't know. I also just enjoy listening to people read. It's like I don't know, just story times are always great. It's an easy way for me to absorb the information. And you know me, I'm always multitasking.
yeah, I think that's just the major difference between how our minds work. Um,
Mhm.
how we're wired. You probably could drive and listen to it. For me, if I'm not focused in on on the book itself, it's like forget it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I can be driving, listening to something, and also having a conversation and
yeah,
keep it all keep it all going. It's just I don't know. That's my jam. It's not always that way, but the good days get a lot done all at the same time. It's my favorite.
yeah. For
Mm,
a while, when Brandon introduced me to Dune, well, at the same time, I had two friends tell me about Dune from like my friend Jeff and Brandon were telling me about Dune, and then I'm like, they make it sound real cool, and they're telling me all about it, both of them. Like if I'm having two different conversations, and I'm like, oh, this is very synchronous. 'Cause these both of these guys are telling me about this sci-fi novel um, and recommending the audiobooks and stuff like that. And my one friend even gave me all the audiobooks, and I made an attempt to digest the first segment of the first book.
hmm.
And I got like 2 hours in, and I have no idea what is going on. And then eventually I gave up. I'm like, if I'm not gonna sit down and read the novel, this is not happening. But I loved
Yeah.
listening to them talk about it because they made it sound so cool. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty
Hmm.
interesting. But
Yeah. Yeah, Brendan got me listening to Wheel of Time, that book series. I started on that, which I had some friends before that who had talked about that series. Um, but man, you want to talk about a very descriptive book or very descriptive books. I mean, he's like describing everything, and I don't know, it's a lot to take in. Uh, but I've listened to several and I enjoyed them, but it's a little bit overwhelming. uh, Maybe someday I get back to listening to some of those. I think what happened was is I got to maybe the third book, and then I couldn't find any more YouTube channels that had uploaded the audio.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's on Audible. I don't think the books are on Audible. So, um, yeah, I haven't
Um,
listened to the rest of them.
Audible is the audiobooks for Amazon or
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, have that subscription, so I have tons of audiobooks. Tons and tons. But they're nice. Um, that book, The Body Keeps the Score, which I read, started listening to that, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now, something like that. That's one of the books I would have never gotten through if, if it had just been me trying to read the book, because I think with it being recorded, it's like something like 22 hours. So, and like I said, it would be a really slow read for me. So that's one I usually listen to at least once a year. It's interesting because you go back and listen. I go back and I listen to these books and pick out new things that I missed the previous times. Especially something like that. That's such a big book, a lot of different concepts. That and hmm, can't think of any others at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the around the, books, movies. I haven't really got too many books, but I've never really been a fiction reader, to be honest.
Hmm.
For a while there, I would read maybe one or two a year,
Hmm.
but it's been many, many years. I've always been more reading of nonfiction. But I do like movies, and the last few months I've been watching a lot of movies. Because normally
Hmm.
for like years I wouldn't really watch movies. If Sandra had like a movie on or a TV show on or something like, I might watch it with her.
Hmm.
But I've been going back and watching a lot of TV shows or movies the last few months that I've digested in the past, and it's like very interesting coming back to some of it. Some of it still stands the test of time.
Hmm.
Like I watched Coming to America with Eddie Murphy last night. And I'm like that movie I could watch a million times. It's such a funny movie. Um,
Hmm.
um, but there's like sometimes I watch a movie or a TV show, and even that one that I remember really liking when I was a kid or even younger, even in my 20s, and then I watch it now and I'm like, how did I ever like this? This is so lame. But then again, some stand the test of time, and those ones, at least for me, I realized, there's a lot of stuff that went over my head back then that is a lot
Hmm.
is pretty clever, good writing. Um, even the old Simpsons, I haven't watched that in like maybe almost a year now, but when I went back and watched The Simpsons, I hadn't watched it in many, many, many years. Those
Hmm.
old ones from the 90s. Like some of the jokes in there are really clever, and I've seen this episode a million times. I've never got that joke, and then I watched it now that I'm older. I'm like, wow, that was actually really, really, really clever. Um,
Yeah.
mm, or
Yeah. It's always interesting to go back and rewatch stuff from when you were a kid, especially. It's very different. Mm-hmm.
I was with Sandra the last few nights watching King of the Hill. Is That show is never here in Europe. I guess they didn't think it would translate well, because it's about a Texas family, the cartoon from the same guy that made Beavis and Butthead. Um, but was watching some of the episodes with that. Some of the jokes are really funny in that. Like I never
Yeah.
really got back when I used to watch it when I was younger.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. I was trying to think. There was something the other night. There was a movie I started to watch because I thought, man, I haven't seen that in a long time. And I think I watched about 10 minutes and I was just like, I can't watch this. I can't remember what it was now, though, but it was something that I really liked when I was younger. I was like, this is just dumb.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I would say more times than not, actually. I will
Yeah.
rewatch something I haven't seen it in years. I'm like, man, this is pretty lame. And it's got a weird energy to it. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like, um, it like brings me back, to a space when I was a kid that, like it brings everything back. It's not just the movie. It's like your whole vibration, that you had back then and everything going on around you
Mhm.
all comes back. Um,
Yeah.
it's not exactly deja vu, um, but um, it's yeah, it's not it's got I don't know, a weird feeling. And
Hmm.
it's not just that. When I went on vacation a couple weeks ago, I bought a vape pen at a disposable one at uh the train station there, and it tasted like, do you know the what the what's this, something Joe bubble gum? It was like a nickel for like a, I can't think of
Hmm.
the actual name.
Yeah. I
That
can't think of it either, but it had the little cartoons.
Yeah, the really really cheap gum that like the stores would literally sell you for like a nickel a piece. Um,
Hmm.
and it brought that back, like it brought back a memory. It wasn't a clear memory, but just the taste brought me back to my childhood. I remember like my mom dragging me around, and all I wanted to do was go home, and I was hungry and blah blah blah. And just the taste of that brought back the gum taste, that because she would buy me like, here, shut up, here's a nickel gum, like, and
Hmm.
it brought back like the whole like the emotionality of it, of like just like wanting to go home, like, this sucks, I'm hungry, like, why am I getting
Hmm.
drug around to do all this stuff? Um, yeah,
I know kind of what you're talking about.
yeah.
It's kind of funny because I don't vape, but occasionally people get in my vehicle and they vape, which is a whole other whatever. But it's like this. There's this certain one that every time I want to ask them what the flavor is because I'm just like, it seems so familiar to me, but I can't quite place it. It's almost like a grape, but it's I don't know. It's like a mixture. It reminds me of grape and cotton candy or something to that effect. And I'm like, maybe one day I'll just ask, like, what the hell are you vaping back there? So I need to know what that smell is. But I don't know. There's like this weird thing that comes up with that smell every time, and I'm just like, it's something from childhood, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Mm.
So I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah, Bazooka Joe, that was what I was thinking of.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think. I could just remember the little cartoons or whatever, but
Well,
and I can see the packaging.
the thing is, this little e-cigarette, it was like advertised as something like mango ice or something like that, but it tasted like Bazooka gum, Bazooka Joe
Yeah,
nickel gum that I used to eat, chew when I was a kid.
yeah, yeah. That bubble gum that you got about two or three smacks and then it was
Yeah.
flavorless.
Flavorless. Yeah. And yeah, that was going through my mind as well.
Hmm.
The thing is, maybe it was the wrong time to say it because Sandra and I were like, hiking. and I was vaping on this thing, and I'm like, man, this brings me back. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I feel like when I was a kid, um, like my mom dragging me around, and I just wanted to go home, and I felt hungry, and she's like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about us walking around right now. I'm just saying this flavor brings me
Right.
back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's fascinating how like a flavor or a smell or just something random like that can just transport you someplace totally different
Mm.
unexpectedly.
Yeah, and yeah, the point I was making, but it's very similar. Like when I watch these old movies or TV shows or something. Um,
Mhm.
it's like it brings back so much that was going on back then. Um, like and I guess I vibed with that vibration back then, so I liked the show. But now that I'm like different, and I'm like watching it now, and it brings back that vibration. I'm like, I don't like this vibration.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of stupid stuff I liked when I was younger. Now I'm like, oh my goodness. Um, mm, just, I think especially growing up in the 90s, like there was a lot of mess. I guess every decade has its messed up whatevers, but I feel like the 90s had a lot of really dark, dark humor.
Yeah, I second that.
Mm.
I do notice like the 90s movies and TV shows are not always, but yeah, it was a little it was different and not always in a good way. Um,
No. No.
but then again, some 90s movies like one of my favorite movies is The Big Lebowski. It was made in the 90s.
Hmm.
um, that movie Sandra and I also watched in German and then again in English. So we watched it twice the last few weeks.
Hmm.
Um, uh, that's yeah. I don't know. Some movies are always might well, who knows? I might be radically different again in another 10 years, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. But uh, right now there's like certain things I could always like rewatch. Like I like that movie or The Coming to America with Eddie Murphy or Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. I guess it was made by the same maker people who made the movie, those
Hmm.
two movies. But um,
No, I don't know. It's funny. Like in the 90s, I probably watched, I mean, I watched like stuff that came out in the 90s, but I also liked AMC. So I watched like tons of really old movies. I was thinking about that the other day. I would like to watch some of that stuff again, but I'm like, I don't even know where you would find it at this
oh,
point.
I got good news for you then, because that type of stuff you can find easily and watch for free on the internet. Something
Okay.
something archive. I'll put it. I'll send you
Uh,
that for the description. There's like I guess it's like a public archive project, so they get away with the
mm,
copyright stuff for older stuff. So if you're
yeah.
looking, even movies in the 80s, they catalog all of them. Um, but yeah, if you want to watch old movies, you can watch it for full. Um, on that website. It's no like weird streaming website where it gives you a million pop-ups or anything like that. It's like I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the same kind of concept as like the Library of Congress where they archive all these
Uh-huh.
books. There's a similar thing on the internet where they archive all these movies. So if you want to watch especially old movies, you have to watch them for free and in full. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious if I would still enjoy some of that stuff. I don't know. Who knows? Um, feel like so much of my tastes have changed over the last few years. I mean, I don't watch TV. I watch a little bit of YouTube stuff, and that's about it. It's mostly like audiobooks and music. Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I like the old movies too, actually. I grew up with them with my grandfather. So
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of the old movies, and then Sandra loves the old movies too, so she's always watching them. Um,
Mhm.
no, I think a lot of the older movies, I think the older movies are kind of like how we were discussing earlier, where they leave it up more to your imagination as well. Um,
Mhm.
it's more about the story, and then they leave up things for you to fill in the blanks.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, what was a movie I wanted to watch? I didn't wind up getting around to it, but Sandra and I were talking about Babes in Toyland. I mean, that's a really old one. It's like got to be in the 30s. Oliver
Mhm.
and Hardy. But my grandfather watched that like was it I forgot. Maybe you know because you're in the States still. Like is that movie comes on every Thanksgiving or Christmas? Um,
Oh,
yeah, it's in the
I don't
holidays.
remember.
Yeah. I can't remember either.
Yeah.
But Sandra and I were having the discussion either Thanksgiving or Christmas time. Babes in Toyland used to come on TV every year, and my
Mhm.
grandfather never missed it. So I've seen it a million times, but I haven't not seen it since I don't know. I had to be 16 the last time I watched it with him, and
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and watch it, and I found it. They got the whole thing on YouTube, even like even the really old movies, they'll allow it on YouTube without
Yeah.
copyright.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, YouTube. I check usually every month because they'll put different things up for free. They rotate different stuff through, so sometimes there's something worth watching on there. But no, gosh, it's so rare for me to actually sit for that long. I don't know if I can actually sit and watch a movie. I can listen to a movie though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's as effective. Just I don't have the bandwidth, I don't think, to just sit for that long and stare at something.
uh,
It's be focused in. I used to love movies though. I mean, growing up, we went to the theater almost every weekend, me and my friends, sometimes twice the weekend. But that just sounds kind of like torture to me these days.
mm,
uh
I would love to go. I haven't been to a theater since the last Clint Eastwood movie came out. Sandra and I went and saw that in the theater here. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just nothing that because there's a theater at the bus stop. One of the bus stops I have to exchange buses at, and I look at these posters that they're new movies that they're putting up, and I'm like, what the hell? Who wants to go see that? Like, um, it's just I don't know. Nothing is appealing.
Hmm.
There's got to be somebody out there making a good movie, but I haven't seen one in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what they have been putting out in the theaters, but I'd probably I'd need to find somebody that was just playing old movies, be one of those kind of places. Hmm. I don't know. I'm sure there's still some of those around. It's hard to say. Hmm.
You have to go like an hour away if I wanted to sit and watch older movies in English as well. Because I figure out over here
Yeah.
they always have it translated in German. I don't mind watching some things in German, but you know, it's not really enjoyable to me listening into another language. I don't find it
Hmm.
well. Sometimes it can be, but don't get me wrong. But most of the time, like I just can't follow this the same way. But
Yeah.
there's a theater that plays older movies in Nuremberg, which is like an hour, a little more than an hour. You actually gave me a good idea. Maybe I'll talk Sandra into going out there, watch an old movie in a theater or something.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think it could be fun. Mm. I don't know. I was trying to think when the last time I went to an actual movie was. Really don't. I think the last one I went to, and it was just one of those things. I was out with some people, and they suddenly decided to go to a movie, and I think I rode with them, so I didn't really have an option to opt out. And so we went and saw. It was a one of the Ghostbusters remakes with
Uh,
the women, and I was just
uh,
like,
yeah,
mm.
I probably would have opted out on that one.
I didn't really have a choice, and I was like, well. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I could have done without it.
Uh,
So I don't even know how many years ago that was. That was long, quite a
yeah,
while ago.
that was a while ago. I remember when that came out. I remember everybody online like complaining about it.
Hmm. And I think before that, it had probably been 5 or 6 years. My sister drugged me to a movie she wanted to go see. It's just like, if it hadn't been for, just wanting to do something with my sister, I definitely wouldn't have went to that either. So I don't know. It's just not. I don't know. I guess there's just not that much stuff coming out that I'm. I don't know what it is I want to see. I just know none of it's been worth the effort
Yeah,
the last couple of times I went.
that's how I feel. Because I used to love the whole movie theater experience, but there's nothing I want to
Hmm.
see.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, that's is something to go and get completely absorbed into the screen and the sounds and all of that stuff. It's fun, but mm,
popcorn. But the thing
yeah.
in Germany, you can't get good popcorn now.
No,
No,
well, that's a shame.
their version of popcorn is like Cracker Jacks. You know, a Cracker Jacks like the caramel covered
Oh.
like popcorn. That's what the Germans eat. If you say you want popcorn with salt and butter, they look at you like you have 10 heads. So, yeah, I've learned that when I try to go to the movies. I'm like, you can't
Yeah.
don't have popcorn? Come on.
Yeah. That's strange. I wouldn't have thought.
Mm,
Yeah, you just never know. Small stuff like that.
yeah.
Mm. People sometimes ask me about options for entertainment around town, and I'm just like, you're asking the wrong person. If I tell you what I do for fun, it's not going to be what you want to do for fun. Although sometimes, I don't know, some of the people, like if they're staying downtown or whatever, I'm like, you should definitely check out our river walk. It's not like Texas river walk or anything like that with all the shops and stuff, but it's a nice little, you know, something to do. I actually went and did that the other day. I just went and had some work done on the car, and after I got finished, I was like, I think I'm just going to go down to the river walk for a bit. And I got lunch at a little local pasta place and sat out on the patio. It was really nice. It's like I really should do more of this. Get out and about. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to wrap it up.
I think so too. It's
Yeah,
hopefully, been a good episode, but yeah, it's difficult when there's not a lot going on and you're in that space of quiet.
yeah, yeah. So, like I said, same problem. But if you guys made it this far, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, every episode's pretty much about something different. I mean, we touch the same topics pretty often, but we touch new topics. I don't think we ever talked movies and popcorn before, or whatever we talked about. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. You can catch Where the Mind Wanders with Spoons and Joe at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time PM every Monday. If you like the video or check out some of our other videos. We have like this is episode 18 now, and we also have a bunch of clips on the channel. So go check them out, share them around, subscribe if you haven't already. We also got a Telegram channel with the same name, Where the Mind Wanders, where we post like the video and the audio every week. Telegram's a great platform if you're like Spoons and you like listening to stuff. Telegram is a good platform. You lock the screen and just listen to the MP3. Um, all right. Again, thank you for tuning in, and till next time.